The war I started to save my empire might be the thing that destroys it. Because in this world, every action has consequences, and mine were coming due. I thought killing Marco would end the threat. I thought eliminating the traitor would plug the leak and restore order. But in our world, blood doesn't wash away problems. It multiplies them. And the blood I'd spilled was about to drown everything I'd built. The call came at 3:47 a.m., 4 days after Gino put a bullet in Marco's head. I was in bed but not sleeping. Hadn't really slept since I gave the order. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Marco's face in that warehouse, heard his voice explaining why he'd betrayed me. Killing him should have felt like justice. Instead, it felt like cutting off my own arm. My phone vibrated on the nightstand, Angelo's name on the screen. My stomach dropped before I even answered. Good news doesn't come at 3:47 in the morning. "Boss, it's bad." Angelo's voice was tight, controlled panic barely held in check. "They hit the Vesuvio Club, firebombed it. The whole building's going up." I was out of bed and pulling on clothes before he finished the sentence. "Casualties." 2 of our guys were inside doing security. Paulie and Frankie the bartender. They didn't make it out. The room tilted. Paulie Santorelli, one of the young soldiers who'd been with Marco in that warehouse, who'd stood by me when the truth came out. 26 years old with a wife and a baby daughter. Gone. "Where are you now?" I asked, heading for the door. "Outside what's left of the club. Fire department's here, but there's nothing to save. Boss, they left a message. Spray painted on the building across the street, blood for blood." I drove through Brooklyn at speeds that would have gotten me arrested if any cops had been around. The streets were empty, that dead zone between late night and early morning when even New York takes a breath. My mind raced faster than the car. This was Tommy Ricci's answer to Marco's death. Loud, public, designed to humiliate me and prove the Castellano family couldn't even protect its own headquarters. The Vesuvio Club had been in my family for 40 years. My father had held court there, made the deals that built our empire. It was more than a building, it was a symbol, a statement of power and permanence. And now it was burning. I could see the smoke from 6 blocks away, a black pillar rising into the pre-dawn sky. By the time I arrived, a crowd had gathered, neighbors, firefighters, my own people standing helpless as flames consumed what used to be the heart of our operation. The heat was intense even from across the street. Through the shattered windows, I could see the mahogany bar where I'd celebrated victories, the walls covered in family photographs now curling and blackening. Angelo met me at the police barricade. His face was smudged with soot, his eyes red from smoke or tears or both. "They used accelerant, boss, professional job, multiple ignition points. This wasn't some random torch job, this was a hit." "Paulie's wife," I said quietly. "Has anyone told her?" "Vinny's with her now. Told her Paulie died in the line of duty that will take care of her and the baby. But boss," Angelo's voice cracked, "she's destroyed. Paulie was a good kid. He didn't deserve this." None of them deserved it. That was the truth I couldn't escape. Paulie, Frankie, even Marco in his own twisted way, they'd all paid the price for a war between men who sent others to die while we stood back calculating strategies. This was on me. My decisions, my consequences. "We need to respond," Angelo said. "The crew's ready. We can hit 3 Lucchese locations tonight. Show them we're not backing down." "No," the word came out harder than I intended. "That's what they want. Tit-for-tat violence that escalates until we're both bleeding out in the streets while the feds circle overhead." "Then what? We just take this. Let them burn us down while we stand here with our hands in our pockets." I watched the club collapse in on itself, decades of history reduced to ash and memory. We respond, but not the way they expect. Get everyone to the backup location. Emergency meeting, 1 hour. And Angelo, find out who knew about the security schedule at the club. Someone told the Lucchese family exactly when to hit and how many guys would be inside. Angelo's eyes widened. You think we got another leak? I think Marco wasn't working alone, and I think someone's still feeding them information. The backup location was a warehouse in Red Hook, one of our legitimate businesses that fronted as a shipping and receiving company. By the time I arrived, 30 of my soldiers had assembled, captains, enforcers, the core of the Castellano organization. They stood in clusters, talking in low voices, all of them looking to me for answers I wasn't sure I had. I climbed onto a loading platform so everyone could see me. The conversations died immediately. You all know about the Vesuvio Club, I began. You all know we lost Paulie and Frankie. What you might not know is that this attack was too precise to be lucky. They knew our security schedule, knew how many guys would be inside, knew exactly when to hit. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, soldiers exchanging glances, the paranoia spreading like smoke. We have a traitor in this organization, I continued. Maybe more than one. Someone feeding information to the Lucchese family, someone who's been doing it since before Marco was exiled. And until we find them, every operation we run is compromised. Every meeting we hold is monitored. We're fighting an enemy who knows our moves before we make them. How do we know who to trust? Someone called out. You don't, that's the point. Marco was my right hand, the man I trusted most in the world, and he sold us out for ambition and a promise from Tommy Ricci. If he could betray us, anyone can. I let that sink in. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to compartmentalize everything. Nobody knows more than they absolutely need to know. Operations are run on a need-to-know basis only. And anyone, I don't care how long they've been with us, anyone who shows even a hint of suspicious behavior gets investigated immediately. Bobby the Shadow Marconi stepped forward. Boss, with respect, that's going to kill morale. We're already under siege. Now you want us turning on each other. I want us to survive, I said sharply. And survival means rooting out the cancer before it spreads. I'm not asking you to turn on each other. I'm asking you to be vigilant, to be smart, to remember that loyalty has to be earned every single day. The meeting continued for another hour, but I could feel the shift in the room. Fear had replaced confidence. Suspicion had replaced brotherhood. This was what betrayal did. It poisoned everything, turned allies into potential enemies, made every conversation a minefield of doubt. After everyone dispersed, Bobby pulled me aside. You really think there's another traitor, or are you trying to smoke someone out? Both, I admitted. The Vesuvio hit was too clean. Someone's feeding them intel. But I also need everyone paranoid and careful. Paranoid people make fewer mistakes. They also make desperate choices, Bobby warned. You push people too hard, they might decide the Lucchese family looks like a better option than staying loyal to a boss who doesn't trust anyone. He was right, but I didn't have better options. The war with Tommy Ricci was escalating, and I was fighting on two fronts, against an external enemy and against the rot within my own organization. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. We need to talk, Park Slope, corner of 7th and 9th. 1 hour, come alone. I showed Bobby the message. Thoughts? Could be a trap, could be someone with information, could be the feds trying to flip you. He studied my face. You going? Only one way to find out. Park Slope at dawn was quiet, tree-lined streets where young professionals walked their dogs and grabbed coffee before heading to Manhattan offices. Nothing about the neighborhood suggested danger, which was exactly why it made me nervous. I parked 2 blocks away and walked, checking over my shoulder every few steps. The corner of 7th and 9th had a small cafe just opening for the morning rush. A woman sat at an outdoor table despite the November cold, nursing a coffee and watching the street. She was in her 40s, professional looking in a dark pantsuit, with sharp eyes that tracked my approach. Vincent Castellano, she said as I sat down, not a question, a statement. You know me, but I don't know you. Let's fix that. She pulled out a badge, FBI, Special Agent Rebecca Morrison, Organized Crime Division. My blood went cold, but I kept my face neutral. Am I under arrest? If you were under arrest, we'd be having this conversation in a federal building, not a cafe in Park Slope. She slid a folder across the table. But you will be arrested, Vincent, unless you're smart enough to see the way this ends and make a different choice. I didn't touch the folder. I don't talk to the FBI without my lawyer. Then don't talk. Listen. She opened the folder herself. Inside were surveillance photographs, me meeting with captains, handling envelopes of cash, entering locations we used for illegal business, wiretap transcripts, financial records showing money laundering through our legitimate companies. We've been building a RICO case against your organization for 3 years. We have testimony from cooperating witnesses. We have your financial infrastructure mapped. We have enough evidence to put you away for 25 to life. If that's true, why aren't I in handcuffs? Because the case we're building isn't just about you. It's about the entire 5-family structure, and you're going to help us build it. Morrison leaned forward. Marco Santino was going to testify. Did you know that? He'd made a deal, agreed to provide evidence about the Castellano, Lucchese, Gambino, Colombo, and Genovese families. He was going to burn down the entire New York Mafia. Was, I noted, past tense. Was because someone killed him before he could make it to protective custody. Professional hit, body found in a shallow grave in Westchester. We know it was you, Vincent. We know you gave the order. My heart hammered, but my voice stayed calm. You can't prove that. Not yet, but we will. And when we do, you're looking at murder 1 on top of the RICO charges. You'll die in prison. She pulled out another photograph, this one of Paulie's widow at his funeral, holding their baby daughter. How many more bodies before you realize you can't win this war? The Lucchese family is tearing you apart. Your own organization is riddled with traitors. Marco's dead, your club is ashes, and your soldiers are dropping like flies. Is this really how you want the Castellano legacy to end? What do you want from me? The same thing we wanted from Marco: cooperation, testimony. You help us dismantle the 5 families and we'll offer you witness protection, a new life, maybe even a reduced sentence. Morrison's expression softened slightly. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking cooperating makes you a rat, that there's a code you can't break. But Vincent, the code is dead. Marco broke it. Your traitors broke it. Every man in your organization is one bad day away from making the same deal I'm offering you. I thought about Uncle Sal's words about trust being a cage. I thought about Marco's face when he explained his betrayal. I thought about Paulie's widow and that baby who'd grow up without a father. And I thought about the empire my family had built over 4 generations, all of it balanced on a knife's edge. I need to think about this, I said finally. You have 48 hours. After that, we move forward with or without you. And Vincent, Morrison stood up. If you're thinking about running, don't. We have agents watching every airport, every train station, every route out of New York. The only way out of this is cooperation or prison. Choose wisely. She walked away, leaving the folder on the table. I sat there for a long time, staring at the evidence of my life spread out in black and white. Every choice I'd made, every line I'd crossed, all of it documented and indexed and ready to be used against me in a federal courtroom. For the first time since my father died, I felt genuinely trapped. I called an emergency meeting with my most trusted advisors, Bobby, Angelo, Frankie Numbers DeLuca, and Vinny Knuckles Romano. We met in the basement of a social club in Bensonhurst, a room swept for bugs 3 times before I'd speak openly. The feds approached me this morning, I told them, watching their reactions. They offered a deal, cooperation in exchange for witness protection and a reduced sentence. The room exploded, everyone talking at once, voices raised in anger and disbelief. Angelo was on his feet. You're not actually considering this. I'm considering everything, I said sharply. The FBI has enough evidence to put us all away. They have Marco's testimony on tape before he died. They have financial records, wiretaps, cooperating witnesses. They're offering me a way out. A way out means betraying everyone in this room, Frankie said. Everyone who's loyal to you, everyone who's risked their lives for this family. You destroy all of that to save yourself. I destroy all of that to stop more people from dying, I shot back. Paulie's dead. Frankie the bartender is dead. Marco's dead. How many more bodies before we admit this war is unwinnable? Vinny shook his head. Boss, you flip and we're all going down anyway. The feds will use your testimony to indict everyone. Our families lose their income, their protection, everything. You might save yourself, but you'll condemn everyone who ever trusted you. Bobby had been quiet, listening. Now he spoke. What did you tell the FBI? That I needed to think. They gave me 48 hours. And what are you thinking? I looked around the room at these men who'd stood beside me through wars and victories, who trusted me to lead them, who'd believed in the Castellano family when belief was all we had. I'm thinking that maybe the code we've all lived by is already broken. Marco broke it. Our traitors broke it. Even I broke it when I ordered Marco killed. Maybe Agent Morrison is right. Maybe the 5 families are already dead and we're just too stubborn to admit it. Or maybe, Angelo said quietly, she's trying to break you, make you doubt everything so you'll roll over and give them what they want. You really think witness protection is a life worth living? You'll spend the rest of your days looking over your shoulder, knowing every man in our world wants you dead. That's not freedom, boss. That's a different kind of prison. He was right, but so was Frankie, and Vinny, and Bobby. They were all right and they were all wrong, and I was stuck in the middle trying to make a choice that would destroy something no matter which way I went. There's a third option, Bobby said. We end this war, not by surrendering to the feds or the Lucchese family, but by winning it so completely that nobody questions our power again. How? I asked. They know everything about our operations. They've got traitors feeding them information. Every move we make gets countered. Then we make a move they can't counter. We go after Tommy Ricci directly. Bobby pulled out a file of his own. I've been tracking him since the Vesuvio bombing. He's predictable, arrogant. Every Thursday night he has dinner at a restaurant in Little Italy. Same table, same time, minimal security because he thinks he's untouchable. We hit him there. Public, dramatic. Send a message so loud the entire city hears it. You're talking about assassination, Frankie said. In the middle of Little Italy where everyone can see. I'm talking about ending the war, Bobby corrected. You cut off the head, the body dies. Tommy's running the campaign against us. Remove him and the Lucchese family falls into chaos while they fight over succession. That gives us time to regroup, root out the traitors, rebuild our defenses. Angelo nodded slowly. It could work. Bold enough that nobody expects it, public enough that everyone knows it was us. And stupid enough that it gets us all killed or arrested, I said. The feds are already circling. A public hit on a Mafia boss. That's the kind of headline that brings down federal heat we can't survive. We're already not surviving, Bobby countered. The FBI's got their case. The Lucchese family is tearing us apart, and our own people are betraying us. At least this way we go down fighting instead of rolling over like dogs. I looked at each of them. Bobby with his aggressive certainty. Angelo with his soldier's mentality that action was always better than paralysis. Frankie with his calculating mind running the odds. Vinny with his unwavering loyalty that would follow me into hell if I asked. If we do this, I said slowly, there's no going back. This becomes a war to the death. The feds will come down on us like the hammer of God. Half of New York will want us dead for breaking the peace. We're already at war, Angelo said. Might as well win it. I thought about Agent Morrison's offer. Witness protection, a new life, safety for myself while everyone else burned. I thought about my father, about what he would do in this situation. And I thought about the code we'd all lived by, the idea that loyalty meant something, that there were lines you didn't cross no matter what. Maybe that code was already broken. Maybe I was a fool for still believing in it. But if I turned on everyone who'd ever trusted me, if I became the rat I'd always despised, then what was left of the man I used to be? We hit Tommy Ricci, I said finally. Thursday night, but we do it smart, clean, untraceable, and afterward we disappear until the heat dies down. Agreed. They nodded, one by one. The decision was made. We were committed to a path that would either save us or destroy us completely. There was no middle ground anymore. Thursday came faster than I wanted. We spent 3 days planning every detail, the route, the timing, the escape, the contingencies. Bobby recruited 3 of our best shooters, guys who could make a hit and vanish like smoke. We studied Tommy Ricci's patterns, confirmed his reservation at the restaurant, mapped every exit and security camera in a 6-block radius. It should have felt like preparation for victory. Instead, it felt like preparing for my own execution. The morning of the hit, I met Uncle Sal at his house in Diker Heights. He was in his garden despite the November cold, pruning roses that wouldn't bloom again until spring. He didn't look up when I approached. "You're going to kill Tommy Ricci tonight," he said. Not a question. "How did you know?" "Because I know you, Vincent. I know when a man's made up his mind to do something desperate." He finally looked at me, his old eyes sad. "Your father would have done the same thing. Probably did do the same thing more than once, but that doesn't make it right." "What choice do I have?" "The same choice every man has, to walk away, to admit defeat and find a different path." Uncle Sal set down his pruning shears. "The FBI offered you a deal, didn't they?" I shouldn't have been surprised he knew. Sal had sources everywhere, connections that ran deeper than mine ever would. "They did." "And you're choosing war instead of survival. Why?" "Because survival without honor isn't living. It's just breathing." Sal nodded slowly. "I said something similar once, a long time ago. Turned down a deal, chose loyalty over freedom, spent 5 years in prison for it. You know what I learned in those 5 years?" He picked up the shears again, examined a rose bush. "I learned that honor is a story we tell ourselves to make hard choices feel noble. But at the end of the day, dead men have no honor, and their families have no protection." "You think I should flip?" "I think you should survive, however you need to do that." He looked at me again. "But I also know you won't, because you're your father's son and he raised you to believe that some things matter more than survival. So go. Do what you think you have to do. But Vincent, when this is over, when the bodies are counted and the damage is done, remember that you had a choice. And you chose this." I left Uncle Sal's garden carrying the weight of his words. He was right about everything, and I hated him for it. But I'd made my decision, and I was going to live with the consequences. At 8:47 p.m., Bobby called. "Target is at the restaurant. 2 bodyguards visible, probably more inside. Kitchen staff confirmed. We're ready when you give the word." I took a breath, thought about Paulie's widow, thought about Marco's face in that warehouse, thought about Agent Morrison's folder full of evidence, thought about my father and the empire he'd built and trusted me to protect. "Do it," I said. The silence on the other end lasted 3 seconds. Then Bobby said, "Understood," and hung up. I sat in my car 3 blocks from the restaurant, listening to the police scanner. At 8:52 p.m., everything went to hell. Not because our shooters failed. They were perfect. 3 shots through the restaurant window, Tommy Ricci dead before he hit the floor. But what Bobby didn't know, what none of us knew, was that the FBI had been conducting surveillance on that same restaurant. Agent Morrison and her team were watching, recording, waiting to gather evidence. They saw everything. The police scanner exploded with chatter. Shots fired, Little Italy, multiple units responding. Federal agents on scene. Suspects fleeing. Descriptions being broadcast. And then the words that made my blood freeze. FBI in pursuit of shooters. Multiple suspects identified. Warrants being prepared. My phone rang, Bobby breathless. Boss, it was a setup. The feds were there, they saw the whole thing, we need to. The line went dead, not hung up, dead, like his phone had been taken from him. I sat in that car for exactly 10 seconds, processing what had just happened. Then I started the engine and drove. Not to any of our safe houses or backup locations. Not to call my lawyers or my crew. I drove to a storage unit in Queens where I kept a go bag I'd prepared years ago. Cash, fake ID, a clean gun, everything needed to disappear. Because in that moment, I understood what Uncle Sal had been trying to tell me. I'd made my choice, and the consequences were here. The FBI had me on tape ordering a hit. They had our shooters in custody. They had everything they needed to dismantle not just me, but the entire Castellano organization. The war I'd started to save my empire had destroyed it completely. I'm writing this from a motel room somewhere in Pennsylvania. It's been 4 days since Tommy Ricci died. 4 days since the FBI arrested Bobby and the shooters. 4 days since I became a fugitive from the only life I've ever known. The news is calling it the biggest organized crime bust in a decade. The FBI used the restaurant shooting to execute warrants across all 5 boroughs. They've arrested 42 people so far. Angelo's in custody. Frankie's in custody. Even Uncle Sal got pulled in for questioning, though they can't make anything stick to him. Agent Morrison is on every news channel talking about how the Castellano organization has been dismantled, how cooperation from witnesses led to the breakthrough, how the era of the 5 families is finally over. I haven't been caught yet, but I will be. It's only a matter of time. The FBI has my face on every airport, every train station, every border crossing. They're monitoring my family, my associates, anyone I might contact. The cage has closed and there's no way out. I think about Marco constantly now. Wonder if this is how he felt, trapped between bad choices, trying to find a way out that didn't exist. He chose betrayal and it got him killed. I chose loyalty and it destroyed everything I was trying to protect. Maybe there was never a right choice. Maybe in our world, every path leads to the same place. Prison or death or running forever, looking over your shoulder until the day they finally catch you. My phone, a burner I'll throw away after this, has one message. From a number I don't recognize. Witness protection still available. 24 hours, last chance. Morrison. She's giving me one more opportunity to save myself, to testify, to cooperate, to become everything I've always despised. And God help me, I'm actually considering it, because Uncle Sal was right. Dead men have no honor, and I'm not ready to die. But I'm also not ready to live as a traitor, knowing every man I sent to prison is there because I broke the code. Knowing Paulie's widow lost her husband because of decisions I made. Knowing the empire my father built died because his son wasn't strong enough, smart enough, ruthless enough to protect it. So I sit in this motel room, staring at that phone number, trying to make one more impossible choice. And I realize that this is the price of war. Not death, not even prison. It's this. The slow destruction of everything you believed in until you don't recognize yourself anymore. I started this war to save my empire. Instead, I lost my family, my freedom, my honor, and my soul. That's the lesson no one tells you about this life. You can win every battle and still lose the war. You can make every right tactical choice and still end up with nothing. Because in the end, the real enemy isn't the rival family or the FBI or even the traitors within your organization. It's the choices you make, and the man those choices turn you into. I have 24 hours to decide who that man is going to be. The Castellano empire is burning. Vincent is on the run, and the only way out might be betrayal of everyone he's ever loved. Episode 4, The Choice That Will Define Everything. Coming soon to Voxnarratio.